Hi, buddy. Uncle Leroy here. I got a story I'd like to tell you. Three sisters are engaged to be married, and they're talking, and they come up with an idea that mom and dad really can't afford three big weddings, so let's just have one big wedding in their backyard, and instead of going to a hotel for our wedding nights, let's just stay in our rooms for the night, and we can save a lot more money. And everybody agrees. Mom and dad agree, think it's a great idea. So they plan the wedding, have the wedding. Wedding is beautiful. Everything goes perfectly. And that night, the three daughters take their new husbands to their rooms for their wedding night. Well, mom and dad are in their room, getting ready to go to sleep. Mom decides, I'm going to get them to have a glass of milk. So she gets up, goes down to the kitchen, and on the way back with her glass of milk, she passes by the oldest daughter's room, and she hears crying. She thinks, I hope everything's okay. And she goes by the next door, which is the middle daughter's room. She hears giggling. So that's kind of peculiar. Then she goes by the youngest daughter's door and doesn't hear anything. So she has her milk, goes to bed, and in the morning she gets up and goes to the kitchen, and all three daughters are sitting in the kitchen talking and having coffee. So mom goes in, sits down, and asks the oldest daughter, says, I don't mean to pry into your personal business. She said, but I happened to go by your room last night, and I heard crying. Is everything okay? And she goes, yes, Mom. Everything's fine. Says, it was my first time, and it kind of hurt, so I cried a little bit, but everything's fine now. Mom goes, oh, that's a relief. That's good. I'm glad. Asks the second daughter. Says, I walked by your door, and I heard giggling. Do you mind telling me what that was about? Daughter says, well, Mom, we were feeling a little frisky, and we were playing around a little bit. He tickled me, and I giggled. Mom said, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. So I'm glad you had a great time. Looks at the youngest daughter and says, when I went by your room, I didn't hear a peep, not a sound at all. Is everything all right? Youngest daughter smiles, looks at Mom, goes, yeah, Mom, everything's just fine. But you always told me not to talk with my mouth full.